Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I am your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are watching us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7, New Orleans. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm really excited to have a friend and colleague joining me back this week. She definitely was like a fan favorite, a show favorite, so I'm happy to have her back. So Deborah Hackett-Jones, who is a medical intuitive. So Deb has 20 years of experience as an integrative energy therapist with many modalities. Her passion is to help others reconnect with their inner self. During the birth of her first child, she was in a coma for 2 weeks and crossed over to the other side. This experience gave her a clear understanding of her purpose and path in this life. She also is a 2-time cancer survivor with a lust for life. Our life force can be affected by underlying stress, grief, adrenal fatigue, and environmental toxins. She focuses on clearing the energy paths within us to allow our bodies to work at its full potential. When our energies flow, our vibrations rise, optimizing internal body function, grounding and healing, and leaving us with a greater sense of being centered. She has worked with mentors in all areas of her practice and her native roots. Her life experiences have given her the ability to connect with clients on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level. She specializes in energy therapy and Reiki integrative therapy. Integrative energy therapy, sorry. I'm just going to correct myself there. IET is a safe, gentle, nurturing way to empower and balance your life by helping you increase your sense of well-being, life purpose, happiness, creativity, and health. Through energy therapy, you heal the body by activating its natural healing energies and by restoring energies that have become weak, disturbed, blocked, or out of balance. Being grounded helps you physically, emotionally, and mentally, spiritually. Deborah combines these modalities that will help you ground, align, balance your energies to move freely through your body. So please welcome everyone to the show. Deborah.
Hello, everyone.
Just as a backstory for those who may be joining us new and didn't see the first segment with the two of us together, I think that was back in June. Was it June or July? Sometime in there. I think, but the middle of June. I was doing sessions for clients, and I would say, "Oh my gosh, I don't know who you're doing healing modalities with, but she's got hot hands." And I kept calling you the hot hands, and then it was like Reiki Deb. So I would have another session with somebody different, and Reiki Deb came up again, and I'm like, I need to meet Reiki Deb. And it's been a blast. Like, it was like connecting with a soul sister with just instant connection, right?
And then when we met in person, it's like we were sisters all together, right?
Yeah, completely. I'm just going to put this up. Hi, Heather. Thanks for joining us. Kerrilynn and Deb, my favorite duo. Thanks.
Thanks, Heather.
It's big energy for sure when we're together. And that was kind of, I think, what or that's not the word I wanted. What initiated, this conversation. Like we've had so many different clients, both you and I together, and you and I have been chatting and just connecting and sharing experiences about these sessions and how people are being affected with energies right now and how big they are, and so much was the same. I thought that having you on would be great, so we can just talk about that and give people some tips and ideas in why this is happening and what they can do to move through it without feeling like the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, all bloaty and huge. To start with, hello, Howie. Thanks for being here. Hi, Liz. Thanks. Oh, newbie. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hi, Sue. Great for you to join us. Thank you very much. Energy, collective energy. solar energy, the moon phases,
the eclipses, the retrograde, you name it.
yes.
It all affects us and our environment as well, right? So, you know how since shutdown, it's just been building, 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 right? And then now with everything going on, especially, and I don't even watch the news, I just have to be around the people, and the fear level has increased. Where before it used to be closer down by our ankles and we could kind of stay grounded, we were balanced, we weren't like having all these major issues in our bodies. But now, since everything that's been going on, it's generated this fear. And it's causing people to have, and I'm calling it the energetic belt. So when you talk about the blow,
bloaty bellies.
Yeah, right?
Bloaty bellies are a thing.
Yeah.
So I just going to say hi, Joanna, and thank you very much. Thank you. Kathy Morgan, thank you. Hello, thank you for being here. Hi, Tammy, thank you for participating. And please chime in, everyone. Like, we all feel, hi, Julie. Oh, Lucy, thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
That's funny, having a spiritual garter belt. That's what it was. It was on the legs and lower, and it's not anymore. It's more, like a restrictor. Like
it's
a belt
now
restrictor. Hi, Connie. Contessa Martins, hello. Let's give some people a little bit of background about exactly what you do as a medical intuitive. And so, what you've been seeing or experiencing with clients over the last few months. I would say probably the last 6 months for sure.
Yeah.
The last 3 in particular, the last 3 have been super intense.
Correct.
Yeah.
So as a medical intuitive, not only can I see, but I also can feel the energy in people. So I have sight, so I can go in and tap in and tune in when I'm having hands-on. So I see the chakras, I see the meridian lines through your body, and I'm seeing a lot of blockages, a lot in the throat, but mostly down from the solar plexus, the sacral, the root. They're all off and blocked.
Yeah, which throws us off kilter emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Physically, correct.
We have that dis-ease. I just want to connect with Lucy so she knows that I'm paying attention to her and not throwing her for a loop. So Lucy, currently the night of my sister's wake, I'm so very sorry. My condolences to you and your family. And we, this isn't a show where we're going to be giving messages from spirit. But we'll certainly be holding you in our heart and thoughts, you and your family. And I appreciate that you took the time to pause with us, when it's such an emotionally charged time for you. Yeah, I've noticed that with clients as well too, and with friends, that we've all kind of, and then it's such how do you discern the difference between what's energetic and what is welcome to perimenopause or menopause, but it's not just women that are having these experiences, men are as well too. So we can't joke it off as that it's just a hormonal thing for us.
No, because I have clients going to doctors and then coming to me going, the doctor says there's nothing wrong with me, yet I have all these symptoms. Yeah. So when we move the blocked energy or what has attachments or whatever cords, or especially this etheric belt that's caused, and it's mostly environmental. And then once we clear the energy from that, they're like, wow, I feel so much better. It might not be that day, but within 2 to 3 days, they're feeling back to normal. But it's also about staying in balance. It's staying grounded is so important. right now,
Yeah.
because with the disconnect, your body is like out of balance. So you're vibrating, but your meat suit isn't going anywhere.
That's right. And do you feel though that the first step would be understanding how to connect yourself? Like understanding how your body is giving you those messages. If you are so accustomed to holding your breath and being disconnected from how your body is giving you messages, you don't move through it. So like how do you encourage people to
Well,
reconnect to their bodies, right?
well, yeah. So it's again it's scanning the body, finding out where it is in your body that you're feeling it, right? And a lot of people are being triggered right now because in 2023, it was about all of our emotions coming up and having to deal with them.
Yeah.
So the emotional frequency was on the rise, and you're seeing it with my daughter being a nurse, all the mental issues, health issues. It's just, and then all the disease issues that are causing now, because it used to stay out in our aura, but with everything going on and all the stuff in the environment, we're bringing it closer and closer. So now it's going in on a cellular level.
Do you feel that it's because there's so many on a collective level that are experiencing at the same time?
Yeah, yeah. I think that the energies that are being brought forth, the vibrational frequencies have increased, and people that don't want to deal with it are having mental issues. Like
Mhm.
a couple of people are saying that are in the profession of either police or ambulance, or that a lot of people are checking out.
Oh,
Yet too, because they can't deal with all the stuff that's going on, right?
totally. Just dropping, boom and gone. And I have had so many clients for, their loved ones and someone that is close to me, their brother passed this week and he was in his mid 30s, just dropped. So
Wow.
it's a lot more, I would say 2 or 3 years ago, I was seeing a lot of uh, choice. It goes by choice. Their actions contributed to their passing, and
Hmm.
now it's definitely more like unexplainable,
Yeah.
instant heart attacks or an aneurysm, things like that.
Hmm. Hmm. And I guess if we looked at ourselves like a
How is just saying yes.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If we look at of ourselves, giving a metaphor like a tree, and we're planted in the soil, and we want our roots to ground us, yet the soil is the toxicity. So it's what's being put in, not only what we're ingesting, but what our environment is giving to us.
Yeah, I
Right, and
read.
we absorb that, and then it's our leaves, right, that are our organs, our hormones, all of our body parts. But when the
Yeah,
leaves fall, they fall. Well, yeah, well, we can't glue them back on us.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna look it up. I'll try to I'm not going to remember in the moment, but I just about a year ago read this book, and it was about um, what we bury and what we tend to hide things underground. Things get buried underground, and um, how that affects us in what gets buried in the ground, and
Hmm.
so emotionally, physically, mentally, all of those things. I'll look it up and I'll put a comment on the thread after for people if you want to come back to it. But it was impactful when I was reading it, because I hadn't thought about, like, I knew people get encouraged to walk barefoot outside, or salt baths, or I used to have play sand that I would have in a bucket for my kids that they could play with and ground through the winters, like we're in northern Ontario, so there's no sand through the winter here, but they could ground that way as well too.
Yeah,
But not always remembering that there could be other things, environmental factors under the ground that would affect us.
right. And as a teacher for 20 years that taught kids with exceptionalities, I always, and I don't know if I told last time, was the spoon, using the spoon on your foot to ground yourself. I'm not talking about plastic or bamboo. Um, it's
Kim,
I know.
sorry, yeah, we're just gonna. Kim is saying, "Have a great show, you two beautiful ladies. I'm off to yoga. We'll circle back to recording. Thanks so much, Kim. Thanks for your support."
But just using a
We lost her. We're just going to bring you back.
Hi.
Big energies.
Yeah, it does. And I did. I went to use my spoon on my foot and boop, off you went. Or off I went.
Yeah, that's okay. You're back now. It's like magic.
Yeah.
I was worried with the weather that we were having too, that, we might
Lose power, yeah.
lose a bit, but we're doing good. Let's just keep rolling with it. Okay, so children with exceptionalities, and
Yeah. So I went to the dollar store and I bought spoons, like silver spoons, like or normal cutlery spoons.
right.
And if you use them on the bottom of your foot, you can have a sock on, sock off, whatever, and you go to, I think I have, hold on. Sorry. I'm just gonna.
Nope, we're good.
Just a normal spoon.
Right.
Right. And you take it and you run it. So if this was my foot, up on both feet, and it grounds you.
So, like the rounded edge, just so
Yes.
our audio listeners,
Yes,
so those who don't watch the video, so it's the rounded edge,
yeah,
right along the whole foot, or just
from
on
the
instep?
heel to just the instep, because that's a main meridian line as well, right? And that focus, and it's part of where we in Chinese medicine too grounds us when you touch that point in the insole of your foot. So
Right.
running it along there, it grounds them. So I do it on my clients all the time when they're on the table. I just
Fun.
their feet and it grounds them.
I used to have a podcast a long time ago, and it was for parenting children who were intuitive. And I remember I was going to be doing this interview with someone who's quite well known internationally, and I was super nervous ahead of time. And so Archangel Michael, don't want to make it a huge thing, but definitely, like, he's definitely someone that comes in as a guide all the time for me. And he showed me this like spiral, so just like the spiral on a snail. And that's exactly where he told me to do that with my finger. So I was touching it at the first time. So yeah, Jesse's just saying I taught. Jesse is just sharing, Kerrilynn, you taught me years ago about the swirl on the bottom of my feet, and I use it all the time, because you can evolve it from, actually physically doing it to just being able to visualize it. And you just see that circle touching the bottom of your foot right at that instep and pulling that energy out, right?
Yeah. And it's the same with your chakras, right? When your chakras are spinning counterclockwise, they're spinning outwards. So you're giving energy away. You want them spinning clockwise. So even if you feel or scan your body and you think you're out, one way to do it is actually putting your hand on wherever chakra is and spinning it clockwise, getting it and feeling it. It's getting in tune with your body and knowing when you're out and when you're not.
Right. And so many people are disconnected though. So it's taking the time to pause and lean into how you're feeling, like checking in with your body, doing that pause. And I encourage people with their hand over their belly and hand over the heart and taking that breath and just pause. And in that pause, pay attention to how your body is responding. If you have more to that. And
ground too. And what's the purpose of grounding? To bring us back to the present moment. Well, it's also to keep us so we're not, if you're having a meltdown or anxiety or stress, it's because you're not grounded, or even brain fog. Everybody's complaining of brain fog lately, right? They feel like they're not in their bodies or connected. And I don't know about you, but being an observer and just watching people drive on the 401 lately, it's like, wow.
Oh, I haven't had to drive on the major, the 400 series in Ontario for our major highways, right? So I think it's, how many lanes across is the 400 series? Is it 4, 8? Is in some places, is it 10 across, like in both directions? 4?
3 and 3, so 6. Yeah.
Oh no. I avoid it, but it's not just, it's How you like energetically, if you're having to be at a shopping mall or a grocery store, any of those places, it's the energies that you are picking up. And
Oh, yeah, it's so
what
good to protect yourself.
Mhm. um how it can throw us off. Jennifer is just asking or saying, I have really felt off this afternoon. I'm sure it's the energy of the storm coming.
And, or it could be like we talked about the after effects of the new moon and the January 11th portal, right? So that those vibrational frequencies could have affected her as well.
Hmm.
But yes, definitely the storm that's coming in now. Wind affects so many people, eh?
Exactly. Hi, Jen. Thank you for being here. Um,
And the wet, like we haven't had sun.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, new moon energy, I don't think people realize, or some people may not realize with new moon energy, there's lack of light. And so that low energy, it's gonna make us irritable, it makes us tired, it makes us want to be under a blanket fort, just in our blanket fort. The new moon energy really encourages us to do that cocooning and or we feel physically and energetically like
Yeah.
cocooning, which is
Yeah.
still a positive thing for us if we take the time to reflect and go within. So what is it that we're wanting to work towards? Which and new moon energy tends to be at least 3 days.
Oh,
So if you wanted to do any new moon manifesting, you still have a few days to ride that high intention. And because it was the 11-1 portal, that adds some extra oomph to it.
oh yeah, great for journaling for new beginnings or planting the seeds for your future, right?
Yeah. I'm not a good journaler. No. I know that we encourage lots of journaling. I'm uh I'm more like a doodler. I
The-
write little
ah,
notes
ah,
places, but not necessarily. I probably have 5 or 6 different journals, so I have to, now I'm starting in my head to go, okay, this one is for when I'm really not doing okay and I need to purge some emotions. This one is for this because yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
a,
that's fine too. And I encourage people to have a dump journal to dump, but
Mhm,
then always remember the balance and bring the gratitude in afterwards, right?
for sure.
So it's always about balance, finding that. Oh, that's a good idea too. I have one
Do you
for my.
want to read it?
Yeah, I got a light lamp to help me with lack of sunshine. Thanks, Joanne. Perfect. People that
Yeah.
suffer from SAD, that is really good. Even I don't, and I'm finding this last couple weeks without sun. Yeah, it's just I'm more edgy.
Mary Jo is just saying, hi, Carolyn and Deborah. I felt really weird yesterday, like in a tunnel. That's definitely how that
Yeah,
energy felt for
yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Steve is saying, I'm not good at journals either. Jot things down. Yeah, if it's like that, that's how I am. That's
Oh
what's
yeah, it's all in
Marilyn. I
everybody's
love journaling, all of it. Yeah. I
right.
I
Some people talk and record all their stuff too.
Mhm. I find I don't know if I'm just trying to justify it or if it really is a thing. I'll have to sit with it. But I write so much during the day because there's so much automatic
Yes.
writing when I'm doing sessions, anywhere from 3 to 8 pages in a session, and then however many clients I have, and I tend to write. I do this thing called Monday messages, so everything gets written first and then I type it out. I have to do the automatic writing to get the messages out. So I don't um I don't do a lot of personal journaling.
So one of the things also was going when you go like you talked about going into a grocery store.
Yeah,
If you're sensitive, you're going to pick up on all those energies, right? So you need to protect yourself or discern, is it mine that I'm feeling or am I picking up on
exactly.
somebody else's?
I do you know what, Megan? I think I don't get terrible cramps in my hand because it's a weird thing. It's like spirits taking over. So Kerrilynn's off here to the side and Spirit steps in is a totally different, because even when I'm feeling kind of sick or off kilter, I don't, when I'm doing my spirit work, it moves out of the way so I can do what I need to do. And then when I'm done, it all rolls back in. Thanks for asking. Sue is just laughing and said at Costco today, lots of crazy energy there. So how would you suggest, to people when we are doing to stay grounded and centered in their bodies when we're going to those places?
I agree with Costco. I go once a month, and when I go, I have to mentally, physically, emotionally prepare myself to go. So I play with it. Like the last time I went, I sat in my car, I grounded myself, I took a deep breath, and I thought, I'm going to go in, I'm going to shine my bright light and just make people smile, because it was just a down day and I was in a good mood. And I walked towards Costco, and a guy pulled his card out for me. I didn't have somebody.
Megan's just showing I need naps after Costco.
So I asked my angels, especially Archangel Michael, to put a protective cloak around me. And then I envision a bubble around me. And I pick the color that I'm feeling in the day, and whether it's yellow, gold, white, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I go in and I smile, and it end up making other people's days, right?
Yeah. When my kids were small, I would have a Post-it note, and I drew a little stick figure with a round bubble around it, so that, I would ask them if they have their tool belt on, getting ready to go out the door. So they would, and it said shields up. So, that every time you leave the house, our house should be our nurturing space, our safe space, and where we can refuel and reset. So every time we leave the house, it was shields up. And so if we were in a parking lot going into a grocery store or somewhere like Costco, it's like shields up, rubber bubble with slime, mirrors, egg, rainbow colors, glitter, whatever. And then it was turned into a game. Like, this is what mine looks like. What does yours look like?
And see, that's perfect. It's playing with the magic, right?
Yeah.
Like being that kid again. It's just like when I went to work, before I retired, walking into a high school with all those energies, I went every door frame. I would make sure that when I walked in, that I was putting whatever around. Most of the time, glitter, because it was high school kids. Like, okay, I need it all today.
Fun. Sue is saying, I smiled at a lot of people today just because, and it shifts everything.
It does. And that's what it is us raising vibrations, not only for ourselves, but for others, because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
That's true.
For other people, right?
And again, collective. So, Costco would have been crazy yesterday and today because everybody's in fear mode, shopping ready, preparing for a storm, in Ontario, where we are at. Jenna's just asking me, are you aware of what you are writing down during? So it's more channeling. I would say that it's channeling. I don't necessarily, it's not, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I kind of go, but I'm here, but it's super sensory and it just comes out fast. So if you're actually looking at the notes, well, the notes, you can see where it's just me and what I'm receiving. And then when I'm channeling fast, or they're coming through, it's different.
That's like when
I talk out loud.
Yeah. When I'm connecting with my client that's coming in and I draw the energy, the body energy before they come, it's more channeled because I'm sitting with them on a soul level, right?
Exactly. We're tapping on a soul level. Kathy Morgan's just saying, I ask my angels for protection or help with staying focused. Exactly. And I would do that as well too with my kids when they were going out the door, is like, thank your joy guides. It was never asking them, it was thanking them. So thank you for the protection, or thank you, joy guides, for the gifts that you're going to bring me throughout the day. And then we could, come back to it at the end of the day. What gift did you get? So it helped them understand gratitude from a young age, that little things, so-and-so held the door open for me, or somebody gave me a cookie, you're looking for those little things to be joyful for. So it just sets you up as an adult that you're doing the same, but definitely smiling. And then I would also, they're adults now. My oldest is 30, so it's not like these little kid, but I would have a little post-it note at the door with a stick figure with it looked like waves coming out on either side. And it was a reminder to stomp their energy off or to brush the energy off as they were coming in the house. So finding a way that works for you to slough it off.
Right. And that's why movement too is such a great way to get it out. Last night I was at a new moon ceremony and we did breath work, but it was stomping off the energy before you even lay down to do it, to music, right? And it's like, wow, and shaking it off. And sorry, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, but I loved it when Taylor Swift brought that song out because it was perfect. Like you just dance and move and get rid of it. And again, though, playing music helps you raise that vibrational level and shift the energy within a space. Correct. So yes, Kathy, being grateful is gratitude just raises you to that high vibrational
one of the
space
high,
right off.
Yeah. Gratitude, joy, love is on the higher end of the frequency scale. So one of the questions I think I wanted to ask people to be aware of, what are you feeding your energy field, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's also what you're putting into it along with everything else. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's being mindful and aware of how you're treating, because this year's all about self-love, self-care, nurturing. Right?
Mindful consumption.
Yes.
Mindful consumption, and consumption, not like what you're purchasing, what you're putting in your space, why you're purchasing it, what everything.
Yeah.
Not just food, but music and the movies that you watch, everything.
Well, even being mindful of how you're talking to yourself, right? You look in the mirror and you've got your critic comes out, right? And then it sets your tone for the day. Instead, you should be saying how I love you and how beautiful you are, and we're going to have a great day today. Just boosting those vibrational frequencies, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Mariel. Yeah, exactly. And, I had a conversation with a family member this morning, which, I mean, if you follow me along on social media, I do a porch post every morning with sort of like a inspirational something, even if it's just have a good day and I'm sending out hugs, but, and today it was about not repeating, like it's
breaking those patterns, right?
Yeah, breaking the patterns and finding a different way to approach things. Because if you're doing it continuously the same and you're staying stuck, then that you're not going to get a new result, right? So it's finding a way to approach it from a different perspective and being open to having a new routine, even a new way of talking. And if you don't know how, then you ask somebody or seek it out, get the support that you're needing in whatever way is going to work best for you.
Well, we even started, a couple of my clients were having some stuff, and we're doing a 30-day challenge. So I printed out on Pinterest. I borrowed a calendar from it, and I actually went to the dollar store and got us stickers, because you'd be surprised how stickers will make you, when you have to put a sticker on each day, makes you accountable.
Accountability is key, and stickers are great.
Right. And it also puts in a discipline, right?
Yes.
Right.
Cindy's just, I don't know if you can, do you want to read?
I was on the 401, tried to get to my daughter's house, asked for my guide's protection, and it just got so crazy, cars passing on either side. I was trying to change lanes. I physically felt full body goosebumps and chills all over as I turned on the radio and a song came on, Rod Stewart, Forever Young. Oh, I love that song. I swear I was guided that day. Yes. So I've noticed when I used to drive on the 401 every day going to work, I used to curse the person that cut me off. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I'm going to be late for work because we're deadlocked. So I changed it around, and my mind went, oh my God, you must be having a worse day than I am. You go where you have to. I'm sending you love and positive energies. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, the traffic is really okay. I'm going to keep on and turn the radio up. And
Yeah.
what we put out, I think because time is speeding up, that we really have to be mindful of our thoughts and words to ourselves and others, because what we put out seems to be coming right back.
And giving yourself grace, because it's a practice. It's called a practice for a reason. You can't expect it to shift overnight and all of a sudden you're in this place and it's just rose-colored glasses all the time, because that's not real life either.
No.
We have moments, but it's being able to stop and adjust and reset and then move forward, and giving yourself that grace when you're doing it, and forgiveness. So like when we go back to that car experience, I would get frustrated. And then for me, it was, I was shifted it through forgiveness. So because I've not been very good at giving myself grace and myself forgiveness. So forgiveness was key for me. So it was more like I'm driving along and get cut off. And especially, I had a chip on my shoulder being a single parent, and my kids are in the car, and you're hyper, like just, got this to you. And then fear is always the factor in it when we project out that way. So it's like, I forgive you for being an asshat and cutting me off, and I forgive myself for calling you an asshat, and I hope that you get where you need to go safely. But being okay with, like, in this moment. So now, I always use that phrase, clear, cancel, and delete. So you have that frustrating thought, but as soon as you are aware that that frustrating thought went out, then it's like clear, cancel, and delete, and thank you very much, so that you're trying to shift it quick so you're not getting more back, right?
I taught that to one of my students in school, because he had it was almost like a tick where he sometimes swore all the time. So every time he did, he'd go, oh, cancel, 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 cancel.
Yes, clear, cancel, cancel, cancel. With a big cleansing breath afterwards. So that you are breathing again, and still in that space. Joanna's saying, can you please elaborate on time speeding up?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but when before December hit, September, October, November, and then I'm like, my daughter texted me, we're going to go visit Sam. It's like, it's just, I don't know, it just, everything seems to be, I'm still trying to figure what happened to November.
Yeah, I don't remember November so much.
I know,
but I struggled. My busiest time of year, like my schedule's pretty wonky to begin with, but my busiest time of year is from the beginning of October to the first week of January. Like October is October, and then November, December, everyone's getting together, and there's group families are together. So, more people wanting those group sessions. It's just, and more people are sad. More people are lonely. Grief is thicker from, like, you just feel it amping up, and the veil is actually thinner closer to Christmas than it is. October's just the start of it. Then you build up, and then it's like, whoa, edgy, wide open. Spirits coming and going like crazy through Christmas.
Yeah. But also, on a quantum physics explanation for that, is that our access seems to be slowing. It seems to be slowing or speeding up. I don't know if it's a dimensional shift that the planet's going through. And I heard on one of the channels I was watching that it used to be a 24-hour day, but now we're down to almost a 19-hour day. I know. And I'm like still wrapping my head around that, because I feel like it's a 6-hour day sometimes.
But when you need 40 in a day, how do you do it? Can't do it in 24. How am I going to do
know.
it?
Yeah.
But it's all about reset. Like,
yeah.
Even if for me writing a list, so I was super sick.
You were.
Yeah. Very sick. And So what I thought my Christmas was going to look like on my 2 weeks off is not what happened. So it definitely was being gentle and kind to myself. But that also meant that what I thought I was going to prepare for with work and prep and getting ahead of the game and all of those things, now, getting back to all the emails that were coming in that I couldn't respond to, trying to catch up and not feel like I was drowning. So I've had to, because I'm somebody that has really had to move through uh, anxiety, so I'm much better with it now than what I used to be. But in this moment, this is what I'm focusing on. Can't worry about anything. In this moment, this is what I'm doing, and making sure that I do it all the way through before I go to something next, right? And being okay with walking away and not feeling any guilt attached to it. And that's a huge practice for me.
And that's what we're all having to learn, right? Is trying to stay in the present moment instead of
Yeah.
worrying about what already happened because it's already done.
Yeah.
So forgiveness and knowing we're not perfect and we make mistakes, and then right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then trying to see what we can do better in the future. But it's being, again, present and mindful, but it's a practice. Like, I
Yeah.
can't, if I was to ask my husband and he'd go, yeah, that's a while before you caught on to that one, right? So it's like, it's again, it's practice, practice, practice. But the
Yeah.
mindfulness helps keep you in that present moment, or discerning and recognizing. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is actually check in, right?
Yeah.
Ground
My
myself.
morning ritual my morning ritual and my morning routine is very important to me. This morning, I didn't get to follow through with it, and I struggled. I struggled. So, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. That was
No, that's okay. Yeah. But that's what everybody needs to have, that a kind of routine, Kerrilynn, in the mornings to get them to where they need to be, right?
Mhm.
I've also told clients, when if they get up and have a shower in the morning, is to go into the shower and envision the water, right? Going through and washing it all away. Or those people that know about tapping when you're in to ground yourself too, right?
Yeah.
When you're in the shower. It's a 2-second process, but it's a good routine.
And I also encourage clients to do that check-in every morning as well too. Just pause. So if you put your hand over your heart, it's connecting you to your heart space, to your higher self, your intuitive voice, that part of you that's connected to all that is. And through your breath, that deep breath out, long, slow release out. And on that out breath is when you're feeling your body and how it's responding to what you're doing, and asking, what does my spirit need today? So just getting into that practice, what does my spirit need today? And I pinky promise swear, folks, if you do it for 2 weeks, by the end of the 2 weeks, you understand what your intuitive voice sounds like, and the answer comes before you're done asking the question. And the more you trust and act on it, the more guidance you get from your divine team.
Yeah, it's quietening down the autonomic
Yep.
nervous system, right? And that's
Yeah.
what I tell my clients. Everyone that comes in, the first thing I have to do is calm down their autonomic nervous system so they can actually hear their inner voice,
Yeah.
right?
Dan is just sharing. I'm amazed how music can give
Oh,
messages and
yes.
energy. Even with instrumentals, you are able to pick up on its vibrational field of the mood and the meaning. Yeah,
And I
exactly.
work with vibrational frequencies. Dan, I do singing bowls, tuning forks, and my clients love it when, because I'm part native, drumming over them,
Yeah,
because we're made up of what, 80%, 75% water,
yeah,
and vibrational frequencies go in on a cellular level. So it helps. So
yeah.
listening to music, the sound vibrations, like drummers, guitars, saxophone, all that, those instruments give us those vibrational frequencies.
And why we're attracted to, or we resonate with different music when we're in different moods or
Moods.
for different activities or things that we're doing, we're pulled to different energies. And I could, if I'm channeling, I just have to find that right song that puts me in that place, and I'll listen to the same thing on a loop for 3 hours as I'm writing and channeling things out. So, but all of it different. Hi, Catherine. I'm so glad you're here. I hope your family's feeling better, because I know that you guys were sick over the holidays too. She's just saying, "Oh my God, thank you. I'm going to start practicing Shake It Off before I walk into the house each day after work. I find I use so much energy trying to be mindful with my words and thoughts outside of the house. When I get home, I'm exhausted. I think this might help. Being kind is harder for some of us." It's, and you know what it is too? It's you're trying to hang on to your energy and not allow other people to suck off of it. You're not wanting to take on that other energy. So I mean, it is a
It is
practice.
exhausting.
Mhm.
It is exhausting, especially for myself working with people with energy every day. Like luckily my studio and my house are not connected, and I get to walk outside and shake it off
Yeah.
or do whatever before I go in the house, because I don't want to bring it in with me.
Right? Okay. There was something I want to come back around to, because we started off, we've kind of, oh, let me just, yes, Joanna, I'm going to say yes, but I'm just going to
Ooh, yes.
I'm going to let Deb read this and respond as well too.
So Joanne, yes, does singing raise your vibrational levels? Yes, it does. Toning, right? The toning. That's why monks do the toning, is those vibrational frequency. That's why and all, it's like do re mi fa so. That's how it comes in.
Your whole chakras.
Yes.
It's from top to bottom. It goes with that. If you sang that song, doe a deer, female deer, start singing it. Sound of Music. It hits all of your chakras and aligns them all in one shot, because each one of those notes is aligned with your chakras.
Exactly.
Love it. And I think too, with, raising that vibrational level when you're singing, comes back to, which is where I wanted to go as well too, with the vagus nerves. Like it's chanting, humming, cold water plunges. Like it does help release, what's built up. We're going to respond to this quick, and then we can come back to that. Andrea is just asking, how would you handle shaking it off when you work out of your home? I work from home as well too. So it's funny, because like everyone here is used to it, because, as a family, this is all of our normal stuff. So, I have a tuning fork. It's actually, I'll show you folks. It's not in the drawer with the chocolate, because I do have a drawer with chocolate.
Chocolate is good for grounding.
Yes, it is, in moderation. And dark.
Thanks.
So I have my tuning fork, and so I always tell everyone, don't worry, I forked myself. I forked myself. We're all good. I can come out of the room now. But I mean, I have I asked my guides, because it is attached. It's like my office is directly across from, it's right off the front porch of the house. So as soon as you come in, the office is here across from the living room. But, it's intention as well too. It's understanding the vibration when it pulls up. So you are energetically clearing it out in ways that feel right for you, and asking your divine team to stand, protect, and guard it, and being mindful, when you're doing work, that we're asking that those energies that are released are transmuted back into love, so that we are setting it. We're not just dumping an energetic garbage can of into, our space and having to deal with it, especially when we have energetic or empathetic people in our house as well too, that's going to pick up all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Spread that like a bad rash through the house. No one's got time for that. Okay, so the vagus nerve. Can you talk, and cortisol? I wanted to talk about cortisol as well too, which people may not understand. But if we could hit the vagus nerve, if you could talk about that for a second.
Yeah, the vagus nerve, it affects a lot of the inside when I'm seeing it, and it'll start like you'll feel it up in here, and it goes all the way down. But yes, cold water, I find if you shower, at the end of your shower, starting with some people can do 2 seconds, but building up.
Yeah.
Now it's winter, so it's a little harder, but that stimulates, and again, it just it just activates whatever it needs to do that. And it's the shaking, right? You're putting the cold and your body's releasing.
Yeah. And it creates blood flow. It helps your metabolism.
Yes.
Like when it's off kilter, there's weight gain, belly gets belly bloat, a lot of intestinal gut issues as well too, blood pressure. What else?
Yeah, a lot. Like it just affects so many
Brain
things.
fog,
Right?
inflammation,
IBS,
your joints,
inflammation.
arthritis
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
activated,
yeah.
arthritis flares.
Hmm. And another way to do that is, I'm not going to do. They've had it down. A lot of them is, yeah, winter baths. Sorry, Contessa. Um, yes, the polar plunges. If you're near water, get a group and go down. We did it. It's actually
Really?
fun. Yeah.
Tell me again why you thought that was fun.
Well, because you do the breathing before you go in. You get in the water, and it's
Uh-huh.
the polar plunge, and you breathe in the water. We were supposed to be 5 minutes, and we stayed 7 minutes, and then got out.
My oldest son is the one who talked to me about doing, having your shower and then turning it down to as cold as you can handle it and try to stay there for a couple of minutes in the cold. And I kind of poo-pooed it, which I should know better. And then started doing it, and now I do it all the time as well too. And it has made a big difference.
And don't start with it over your head, because you don't
No.
want brain freeze. You got to start lower on your body.
Yeah.
Like take your shower head off and do it
Yeah.
that way, because you don't want to give yourself that shock of that brain freeze, just like eating ice cream. Right? Even when you do the polar plunge, you really don't go under. You only go up to the top of your shoulders.
Well, yes. And, cannot stress enough about how much our gut health affects our mental health.
Yes. And drinking more water, upping your water. I know some people are really good at it, but I have to be mindful. I really have to track my water, because I get so busy that I forget. So I bought one of those water bottles that actually has the time on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to help keep it. So I'm up to 2 liters, which is good for flushing the system.
Wow.
But I find the stress that a lot of people are, when they're coming in, and the inflammation is caused by the high cortisol levels.
So can you talk about that? Just
Yeah. So the cortisol, it's your stress hormone, and it affects, and it causes weight gain. It's almost like
that's what I was thinking. Sorry.
yeah, it's almost like you have diabetes, but what's the sugar, right? You're almost like a diabetic, but you're not. It's pre-diabetic when the cortisol levels are so high. But
again, chronic stress, right?
Yes, it's chronic stress, being in a toxic environments, not grounding, not looking after yourself. You've got to change up. So that's when I switched from being a teacher to doing my energy work full time. I was walking, all the stuff I did before working out, and I was gaining weight. It's like, okay, what's going on here? So when I went to my holistic naturopath, she goes, Debbie, your cortisol levels are out. I've never seen them this high before. I go, I'm retired. I should be. She goes, yeah, but you're doing energy work. You have to protect yourself more. So again, it's about not taking on and putting that extra shield up, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're clearing it off. And then I realized I was pulling it on me and not pushing it to the side. So there's all different ways that we take it on.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. I agree. Let me just catch up here with some of these comments. So, Heather is just sharing what you said about clearing it for other people in your house as well as yourself. And so clearing out the energy makes so much sense. If I'm trying to go to sleep and I started to over ruminate on a concept issue and get into that doom loop, my son wakes up with a nightmare. I'm glad that you could put that 2 and 2 together every single time. It's a good smack in the face to not be so careless. It's not careless. It's just not necessarily aware in that moment. So now you have the awareness, right? And letting my negative energy and poor spiritual hygiene splurge everywhere.
Right. And use, like I use Palo Santo to help clear out the energy as well. But yeah, our energy vibrates out, so it
Yeah.
affects those around us.
And I feel too, like if you are doing those things in your home, making it normal for everyone in the house. So my kids learned early how to clean their own bedroom space as well too, in clearing and protecting and they were young. Like my daughter was 8, so I know that even younger. But you can do that with them.
Oh yeah.
Is giving them choices and what feels right for them and resonating. If it's choosing crystals, if it's having like a liquid smudge that's a monster buster, whatever you want to do, but making it as a whole family and creating that grounded space, right?
When my kids were young, we used to work on, when I was going through all the stuff that I had gone through, especially when I was going through my chemo and cancer, to make it more level-headed for my kids, we worked on plants and
Oh
putting
yeah.
positive. And so we had one, because my son, very logical, very engineer brain, right? So we had one we put away. We had one that we talked nice to, and and then one we talked bad to. And they were all the same plants, and how I could show them when you put love into something, how much it's better. Like, we analyzed the plant, the roots, the leaves, the flowers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how we're all interconnected.
We
Right?
are.
Whatever we put out not only affects the people in our homes, but it can affect the neighborhood, the ground, the environment, the bugs, birds, whatever, plants, right?
Agreed. Barbara is just sharing. Funny, I have convinced some of my seniors to do a cool down at the end of shower. So, Barbara, I just want to ask a little further. Do you notice, or are they commenting? Do they have a different feel, or how are they responding to doing that cool down? Joanne is just asking, does high cortisol create cravings
Yes.
for sugar?
Hence why I'm in a 30-day no sugar. Natural sugar, yes. So no chocolate bars, no like stuff that you'd normally grab on this when you're in the rush. So I even ended up looking at my protein bars I was taking. It's like, okay, I've got to change that because they were high in sugar.
Interesting, eh? I don't tend to be a sugar craver. I'm a salt craver. I tend to crave salt. Joanna is just asking, how do you lower your cortisol levels?
Movement, like exercise, meditation, de-stressing is a big thing. Taking Epsom salt baths, however you can release that stress, if you're not coming to me.
Exactly.
Sorry. But yeah, it's like for myself.
Deb Coolback at yahoo.ca. I should have put that banner up. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, it's because so it was changing up what I was eating, making sure I was more fluids, exercising more, getting out in nature, right? Walking. Yeah. Now, walking around a neighborhood, I couldn't. I was picking up on everybody's energy, so it's like, no, the forest. I go. What a difference when you're in amongst real nature and not neighborhood. So there is a difference. But yeah, it's noticing and feeling and being mindful again of how your body's feeling, right? I was sluggish and more irritable than normal, and I never had like, I'm an iridologist as well, so when I had someone look in my eyes, they go, Deb, like, we've never seen anger in your eyes. But we also have to remember, though, on a positive note, when we're growing spiritually and we're clearing, taking those layers off, we go to deeper and deeper stuff that's been hidden away for so long. So and it's almost like our body saying, okay, we're getting there, right? And it's healing those old inner childhood wounds too.
Generational trauma.
Yes, and that's a lot. I'm finding 2003 brought that up. So 2004 is about the ancestry and family and all that stuff that needs to be healed.
Agreed. It's definitely coming up. Contessa, yep, you can ring a bell as well too. I also have my stepmom is Indigenous, so I also have a rattle. And clapping your hands, even you don't even need to, but clapping your hands also breaks up energy in a space.
It's funny because when I come out here to set up in the mornings when I'm turning on the heat, I have my rattle and I go around saying that bring all the energies and clearing out and bringing them in.
Exactly. Barbara's had been commenting about having her seniors have a cool down at the end of their shower, and she's saying after 2 times they love it and look forward and ask if we're doing it again. And we're talking ages up to 94. That's amazing.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes. Way to go, Barbara. Love it.
Oh, Miss Rhonda. Happy you're here. Thanks for joining in. If you are just joining us now, you are listening to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 New Orleans. So thank you very much for being here. And we have my friend and colleague and medical intuitive, Deborah Hackett-Jones. And we are talking about frequency and energies and how it affects our bodies and how we can stay grounded through that and clearing it. Portal energies. Portal, full moon eclipses, all of that kind of stuff. Lisa Mace, thank you very much. It's nice to see you. And Lisa, I don't know if you look in your Facebook messages, it's kind of past now, but let's try to connect soon. I did leave you a message if you can check there. You were going to share about eclipses, solar eclipses.
2024. So if you got a pen and paper, March 25th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. April 8th, and me being in Aries, holy smokes. New moon solar eclipse in Aries. So I'm really going to have to be grounded then.
So explain to people why. Because some people are just starting, to become a little more aware of these things. So, what does the solar eclipse actually, how does it affect us? And when it's in Aries, what does that mean?
Well, because I'm in Aries, I feel it more. And I'm just not an astrologer. So that part, it's because Aries is fire, right? So it's just those higher energy.
Intense.
Yes, intense, right? But it adds a charge to the atmosphere in the air. They say it's so, like being a teacher, anybody that works with kids or is in the, even police,
nursing,
ambulance, anybody like that in that healthcare system, a full moon, 3 days before, 3 days after, people are just like, it just stirs the emotions, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
it makes it's I don't know, just higher vibration frequency in this body that we're in. If it can't,
which is mostly water,
so
which gets affected by the moon cycles,
right.
as well too. Jackie's just saying, "Gosh, exciting topics tonight." I'm glad.
Good.
Thanks for being here. Oh, Jennifer is a nurse, so she's just chiming in saying full moons were always wild.
Yeah.
And Michelle is popping in saying looking forward to this eclipse.
And there's one in September 17th. It's also a full moon lunar eclipse.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, in Pisces, if you're a Pisces. And October the 2nd, the last one of 2024, new moon solar eclipse in Libra, if you're a Libra.
So
why I was April was such, because I wrote it down that watch out, because Mercury retrograde, and that's when all planets and get involved, and I'm not an astrologer, but I feel it. April 1st to 25th is a Mercury retrograde. That's why I have big sticky notes for April for me to make sure I'm just relaxed.
Heather's just showing us the proximity of the moon drives the tides, the strongest force on Earth. You bet you bet your boots, it affects us as well. So, with the Mercury retrograde, for the most part, I try to convince myself, or I tell myself that intention matters as well too. So
Yes.
I'm not going to feed into the fear or use Mercury retrograde as justification for why everything, for a bad mood, or, for that sort of stuff. That there are things that I can make choices to shift in that as well too. But I do notice the last Mercury retrograde that we had, like my laptop died. There was emails that just went poof, gone, don't know where they went. So it definitely affected communication. But physically, I was very worn down as well too. So I was not on top of um clearing and grounding and all that kind of stuff. But I know when I'm in alignment and good, then I can manifest like crazy. And when I'm not in a good space and I'm lower, that I can watch it all fall away and fall apart as quickly as I've manifested it. So again, being showing me, like the universe holding up a mirror to me saying, be accountable, look at what you are creating, whether it's creating something that's uncomfortable, creating something that is, positive and I want more of.
Well, it's just like people that are on their spiritual journey, or empaths, or strong psychic have, and when I know when the couple times I've been at, I also work at a clinic, and wasn't mad at the person. I was mad at the universe for like, why? And I stamped my foot, and I was angry because why? In my heart, it was like, why is this soul going through so much? And I literally looked up while I was healing, going, why? Not in my head. And I turned the power off in the building.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh my God. Like, so when I was a teacher, I was not allowed in the at the front admin office, because if there was something wrong with the student and I was advocating and I was angry, there's like, she's not allowed in here. She wrecks my computer.
Fries the computers. So funny. Barbara's just saying, Deb, you better have lots of cold showers to stay calm.
Yeah, I know.
This, right?
I will. I'm going to have to do another polar plunge.
And Barb is saying, same here for me, Carrie. So we're talking about intention, right? And putting that intention and how, we can have to have accountability.
But it's also, knowing all this, I make light of it now. Right?
Right?
So I'm very aware. I make fun of it and do things it's like playing and remembering when you were a kid and doing the fun thing. That's one of the things I wanted this year for 2024 is to people to remember to have fun, be playful, enjoy life, stop with the intenseness and the like, let some of it go. Like, it's decluttering, right? Not only ourselves, but and having fun doing it.
Even with, your intuitive development, that's something that I encourage as well to have a sense of play, have a sense of wonder, look at it like from a child's perspective. And Christmas morning, it's just that, wonder what's going to happen today. And being able to go with the flow.
Be right, because then it's opening up for all the magic and surprises and the little miracles that we miss. And having one of my grandsons is when he was 3, he was in my studio, and now he's 5 and really into the crystals, right? But it was like we'd go from my studio and then we'd go down to the beach, and he'd be in the water going, Grandma, look, more treasure.
Yeah.
Right? Right? And
Michelle is just saying amen, and Barbara's like, bring it on.
Right? And then when he first saw we were in the house, and he saw this bug, and I'm like, oh God, there's a bug in the house. But it was a ladybug. And he's like looking at it, and and all of a sudden it flew away, and he's like, oh my God, it flies. Oh my God, it doesn't like me. Right? So, right? But the innocence and seeing the miracles that happen in the smallest things every day. We're looking for these great big things when they're just so small in front of our face.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people. When your guides are giving you messages, it's not going to be a big burning bush.
Yeah.
It's like, so you have to stay grounded and present in the moment, because it's subtle things, it's subtle ways, and there's so many different ways that they can give you these messages. But
Well,
definitely.
even when I wasn't listening, about wanting to retire and doing my healing work full time, last year, school year, when I talk about years before the end of last year, it was just after, it was fall, and I ran Breakfast Club, and I could hear the voice. They were nagging, nudging, and it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've and ignored it. And what happened? I got my feet literally pulled right out from under me and had a concussion. So my team in Spirit, when I don't listen, I literally need, and I've stopped now. I don't need any more slap in the faces. I don't need any more.
Right?
Right?
Hello, Pamela. Thank you very much. That's lovely. I'm glad that you jumped on and that you are here. She's just saying much gratitude for you's energy. So, and you know what I have found? A lot of people in my circle, my extended circle, who had regular day jobs, have at the end of 2023 got to that place where it's like, no, it's time. I really have to. And that's what I find 2024, or at least the sense that I'm getting for 2024, is like full accountability of who we are, really getting to the root of where traumas are, letting it go, healing and releasing and moving forward. It's getting as grounded as possible, grounded and centered, and having the tools that when we get knocked off kilter, because that's how life is, we will get knocked off kilter, but having the tools to get back into that grounded center place quickly, not ruminating and not staying stuck and not playing the same patterns of choice over and over again, so that we just build up more blocks, but really understanding how we can be in flow. And you and I had chatted about that privately. Can you share, the thoughts that you gave me about why this is important, this work in 2024?
Okay. Well, yes, because 2024 is about
sorry, Barbara is just sharing, I'm a trip and a fall hazard.
Yeah, 2024 is about stability, putting what we've learned into action, right? Really, instead of reading the book and going, yep, yep, no, it's actually putting what you've learned into action. Sorry, I just saw a great big orb just flew over here.
We can watch that on replay and then clip it out.
I'm like, oh, okay.
That's fun.
So the energy, right? So the guides and have come
Yeah.
in. I felt them before, but now they're really stepping in. And it's about coming back to our roots and healing, self-care, self-love, going within, right? Because we have to heal from what's inside before we can deal with the outside.
So can you okay, so I just want to be pretty honest and transparent here too, because the term self-care, I call it stink eye tight butt. Like I get that look. It's one of those like buzzwords that gets tossed around quite a bit, and you see pictures of people with their legs in a soapy bathtub, and with the term self-care night, or like, which may be that for them, but it gets used a lot and tossed around a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to can we have that conversation? Like, what?
Of course. Yeah. Like,
yeah, if it's a yes, self-care. It's not just about going for a pedicure. This is about like really understanding what your mind, body, soul needs, what your boundaries are, speaking your truth, like what your self-care, your self-care.
And I've been teaching some of my clients, no is a single sentence. If you're not resonating with it, or feel that you're put on a spot, own it and just say, no, I'll come back to you. Like, I'm not resonating with it anymore. Choose different words.
Yeah.
But no is a single sentence, setting those healthy boundaries. For me, personal care is a cup of tea, coffee, maybe something else, and a good book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taking the time to actually sit and read and enjoy.
Yeah.
Right? It's not always like, or in a bubble bath with my headphones on, listening to some music.
Yeah. Yeah. Jackie's just showing, I found the last Mercury retrograde over Christmas season was a big old opportunity for me to keep letting go of patterns, old traumas, et cetera, that were presented this whole past year for me. And that's what 2023 was. 2023 was like poking the bear. 2023 was definitely poke, 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 poke. Here's like this old, but to me, it was like that last layer of old. So now we get to sit with the healing of it and putting the tools to work. And recognizing how quickly we can put our tools to work that we have. And if you don't have the tools, seeking it out, with in different ways that resonate for you, to get
What I
them.
think 2024, it's more like earth and water. So it's going to be a little more, not as challenging as 2023. So it's more of getting in the flow, getting in a routine, finding things that work and letting go of what doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
With ease, with grace and ease. I always say doing it with grace and ease. Barbara's just saying, like, when we're talking about self-care, getting into our own headspace.
Right. It's quieting the mind. Right. And just having some peace and quiet. Some people just need, because they're like, I know I'll go over, my daughter's pregnant and has a 1-year-old, and she just needs sometimes just to go for a walk or go grocery shopping. So I'll go over and hang out so she can do those things. Because I've said, I'll grocery shop for her. She goes, no, I need to get out of the house. Like, just, giving yourself time to admit, I need help. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And speaking our truth is really hard, but it's a practice. So the more that you practice and being okay with finding the ways to say it. I used to be very bad. If people were asking me something, I was I'm a recovered people pleaser. Recovering? No, I'd say I'm recovered for sure. Like, and learning to say, I can't give you an answer right now. I need to do a check-in with myself. I'm going to check in with myself, and then I can come back and let you know how I feel about this, or if this resonates or this doesn't resonate for me, and being okay to speak your truth. So, really giving yourself permission when you feel triggered to recognize you have this opportunity to practice. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to practice speaking my truth. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to practice walking away from what doesn't serve my highest good. And then it removes you from, past emotions that you would attach to that sort of trigger, resentment or frustration. Like it, and do you have something that you would want to add to that as well too?
Well, even with going back to, again, when we were in staff meetings, and some of, like, they were like, Deb, what do we do if we feel triggered? Da da da. I'm like, I want to, and I'm going to get in trouble. I go, excuse yourself to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right? They say, I'll be back in a minute. Go walk the hall, go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do, breathe, get grounded and focused, then come back, because then you've got it all, instead of you're in the motion, right? And it's like, oh, I should have thought before it all came out. And just being in the practice of excusing yourself, right? Even
a pause, one good deep breath.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I find when I'm in that circle of people, if it's getting intense or I can feel myself holding my breath, as soon as you hold your breath, you disconnect yourself from your divine team. You disconnect yourself from your intuitive voice. And you're just feeling that tenseness. So I put my hand up over my heart, and sometimes I rub, sometimes I tap.
It's the tapping, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I've said at work. The same thing. I go, just tap right here, or even putting your hand. You know how you go when you have like, oh my God, they did, but there's a reason why, right?
Yeah.
It's calming down the autonomic nervous system.
Exactly.
Right? Putting your hand or tapping, right?
I have to be honest too. There's a little bit of when I put my hand up, I have, it's almost a cue where I have a little bit of an FU bubble that comes up at the same time. I'm not agreeing to this energy right now. I'm just going to push it out. And it reminds me to push back with this, glittery pink bubble, and we're just going to spew that all over. As soon as my hand goes up, there is a bubble coming out at the same time, where I'm not going to accept what's coming at me, and I'm going to push back with something else, right?
Like, even if you're feeling a headache, like even touching the back, right? And just holding, or like,
that's huge,
right? Just circling, doing circling. Or another one is between your fingers, is pressing in that webbing and holding that.
Yeah.
You is like, oh, okay, pressure point.
And that one is a really good one too. It's funny because, when I teach people this, I had somebody email me after, and she said one of my coworkers asked me if I was having an anxiety attack or a heart attack. She was worried that I was, and I said, you should have just said, yes, this stress is causing me an issue, and we need to just all take a second to chill. Let's all take a second to chill. But, this is another way that's a little more discreet if you are needing to do that in that moment and you don't have, the space to leave immediately. But the deep breaths, for sure. Cindy's just saying, I love what you said, honoring yourself and taking your power back in gratitude. It is very healing. And I agree with you, that 2024 is really about putting those tools into place and staying grounded and honoring ourselves and what we're needing. And
it's about clearing and finding our passions too. And some people are still stuck on what's my purpose. Well, it's what you love to do. You can be a mom and that's your purpose. It's like, it doesn't have to be.
You're the smiler at Costco.
Right.
You're the smiler at Costco. Yeah.
Making people happy. Yeah. Right. That's what our purpose should be, is making not only ourselves, but those around us feel comfortable, and honoring when they're having a bad day and giving them space.
Exactly. I tell people that, your purpose is to share the gift of who you are unconditionally from your heart space with the community and the world around you. And what is fascinating and great about that as well is you are always learning new gifts in who you are by the experiences that you have. So seeking out what brings you joy. So think about, the conversations that you could talk forever about, what things fuel you, that excites you, that you want to share with other people, and seeking more of that, right? And a lot of it's the childhood stuff that we've given, that we've walked away from. Our little child knows exactly the things that we used to love, and how we stepped away from it with perceived ideas and expectations and responsibilities and obligations as we get older. So looking at the things that we did as a little kid.
Well, yeah, my son bought himself he's a Star Wars fan, like Star Wars, a phenomenal fan. And after Christmas, because they were expensive, he bought himself I'll say it wrong, lightsabers. Yeah, it actually makes the noise.
Yes, and they do.
Like him and his son doing it. It was like, it was just like a little mirror, like he was like a kid again and having this joy because he's like doing the whole thing. And I'm like, it just made my heart sing, right? He was playing with his son, but he was the kid too, right?
Yeah. So much fun. My daughter's boyfriend loves Star Wars as well too. And last year for Christmas, one of the things that I got him was they eat a lot of like sushi and stuff like that. So I bought him lightsaber. They light up actual like, but they're light up lightsaber chopsticks. But yeah, so again, little ways to have joy and fun, little things, just little things.
And again, talking about the high vibrations, it heals the world. Like if we were all in a higher vibration, it just radiates out.
Yeah.
Right?
Hi, Star. Thank you for being here.
And it just, with that intent, putting it out there, right?
Mm-hmm. Because the more that you fuel your spirit, the higher vibration you are, and that just naturally ripples out.
Yes.
And for some people, that's their natural state. Like they just exude joy. It's lovely.
Yes.
Like it just glows out of them, which is lovely. I can't say that I'm at that space yet.
I try. I try.
Me
I guess
too.
'cause I've always been around kids.
Yeah.
That I've all like. I mean, from kindergarten all the way up to grade in high school. So I've always tried to be the bring in
Yeah.
the joy, the happiness, and say hi. Right? Acknowledging people. People want to just be acknowledged, to know they exist.
And the thing too in the last few years, um, and I mean, the last few years has definitely brought it to the forefront. Barbara is just saying a smile is contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, thank you, Linda. You bring joy all the time, Kerrilynn. I'm not so. I try. I try. I certainly try. Um, you know, uh, especially when we were in those places where we were not able to meet and gather and go outside. And I would sit, I mean, I sit on my porch quite a bit because it's how I connect with the community around me. But I would take, because my granddaughter was just born during that time period as well too, and I would take her outside and we would wave at all the cars, we would talk to the people that went by, and they loved it. And some of those people were saying, like, they didn't have any family to talk to, or they had nobody else that was saying hi to them. So you really don't, like, you have no idea if someone is actually all alone. So, you saying hello or smiling to them, uh, if you're the only person that's doing that for them during the day,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it takes nothing.
Right? And even a
Yeah.
compliment.
Yeah.
Right? And it
Oh my
makes
gosh. It embarrasses my family when I do that. And I don't know why that embarrasses them, but I do it all the time. That color looks really nice on you. Oh my gosh, I love your glasses. That's a great haircut. Like, it's natural when you just do it, and you genuinely mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Um and again, like, it shocks people when they receive that, which is sad to me that we don't do it more.
Yeah. And then that's what I like, the shock effect, because people aren't used to it, and they look. I go, no, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I it's like, I used to be a hairstylist, so I notice hair as well too. I love coats and I love shoes and boots. So those things I tend to notice too. So I mean, it's always um, something that I notice. Andrea is just sharing. She says, "Me too. It's spreading positive energy."
Right. And even at the people that are, it's like the grocery store. Right now, we're getting into putting it through on
Oh,
your own. But if you have to go through the checkout person, and it's like engaging in a conversation, like
yeah,
and it just makes their day, because they're used to people yelling or
yeah,
criticizing or judging or whatever.
yeah.
Right? And it's just,
Yeah. And I say that to the clerks at the grocery store too. I hope everybody is pleasant today. I hope everybody's pleasant. Linda is just sharing, when I had the flower shop, when I closed every day, I would take a pink rose and hand it to the first person I saw on the street.
oh,
That's lovely.
yes.
But you do too. You share, Linda, you share from your heart space with the world around you all the time. You are unconditionally giving, energetically, emotionally, physically. You literally would give people the shirt off your back. Like, yeah, you're lovely. You're one of my favorite people. Linda, I had said, we were at painting, an intuitive painting art workshop together.
Ooh.
And Linda, who is going to be on the show, so we can promote her podcast that's coming out. I had said to Linda, you have one of those voices that I want you to read me bedtime stories. I want you to read me bedtime stories. And then in the mail, I ended up getting I'm like, what the heck is this? And I open it up, and it's a book that you can record your voice. And she recorded herself reading me this
Oh.
bedtime story. So I have this book, and I didn't tape. I know that I could record over it so that, Lily could have it, my granddaughter, with my voice, but I kept it. So my granddaughter has your voice too, Linda, because I just think it's fabulous. Good. Thank you. I love you too. And again, I think that people can recognize when you start shifting your um your vibrational space by choosing different actions, your thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, and how they all line up. You start bringing people like we just clicked right away, and Linda, and you bring all of these people into your circle, and Howie and Rhonda, like how I met them as well too. Like these people just, we find each other.
Yeah, you find your tribe. You
Yeah.
find the vibrational frequency that matches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That bring it up.
And more.
Yeah.
And what I'm liking about the community that builds as well too is there's an ebb and flow that's natural. And we all understand what those energies are and how we're coming and going. So there's none of that because we're working on our stuff. There's not that neediness, or if there is neediness, because I have moments like that. I have moments where I get lonely still, but I have that little core group where I go, I just I just need a positive word. And my best friend Carrie will, if I'm having a low moment, and I'm not able to look in the mirror and say I love myself wholly and completely, today I am my perfect self, I message her and she goes, "You have the best ass, and you are magical, and you are going to have a great day." And I'm like, "Thank you." But it's enough for get me going. So when it's okay to claim that you're not in that space, but having those people who understand and can, pull you back into alignment quickly, and then moving on from there. And in that moment, it just makes me laugh, and then it shifts and puts me into that right space. So finding the humor is always so important.
Yeah. Well, even when you're happy and bubbly or in a good mood, if you walk into a room, you raise the vibration of the room as well.
Yeah. Do you want to share that story about you going to the Christmas market with your sibling? I think it's a great story, and it's a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Oh, yes. I'm like, okay, which one was it? Yeah. So we were down in, if anybody's familiar with Belleville area, Picton. I went to a artesian crafts show, and I said to my brother and my nieces and nephews, "I'm just going to go in and just be me. I don't know anybody. I'm just going to put my light on and see what happens." So I didn't tell my brother this, and I walked in and we went up to try some stuff. And this one lady, we got talking. My brother goes, "I thought you said you didn't know anybody here." I go, "I don't." Right? And then I walked around and connected with this painter, and we were talking about all this stuff. And she's like, "Oh, can I have your card?" And my brother goes, "Again, I thought you didn't know anybody here." I go, "I don't." And then again, we met this wonderful woman that breeds tea and makes honey, and we got on talking. And then just as we were getting ready to leave, she clicked in my card because she's a Reiki master as well. And she's running through the market going, "Dad, Dad, Dad." Brother's like having a fit. He goes, "I got to have a drink. You told me nobody knew you here." I go, "I didn't." But we had such fun with it, right? It's just raising your energy and wanting to know and meet people and be interested in what they're doing, right? And it's that connection.
Yeah, it is about connection. The Grand Wizard is watching. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here, and I hope you're feeling better, because I know that you are under the weather as well too. It is about connection. And again, when your light shines bright, especially when it's a vibration where other people recognize it. I mean, there are people who are a lower vibration that want to feed off that as well too, and it will feel energetically different. But that's when knowing what the tools are and how to put them into place, right? How to have that energetic boundary that comes up, or speaking your truth, or just walking away. And I think and this is not thank you for asking, Star. We are taking questions, but we're not doing necessarily intuitive or mediumship readings. But if you want to ask a question about medical intuition, frequency, vibration, any of those sorts of questions, we certainly welcome those. Putting those things into place as well too, right? and then seeing it as a practice, an opportunity to practice. But I think that we need those people. Unfortunately, we're still in the world of duality.
Yes. Well, that's how we learn, right? That's how we learn our lessons.
Yes. And you know what, though, I want to stretch that comment out a little bit further. It is learning lessons, but we also still get presented, even though we've understood the lesson, we still get presented with those experiences to show us that we've learned the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to be, oh, here we go again. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I recognize this and I know that I can, move through this with, I always come back to it in grace and ease. So Dawn Davies is just sharing, sitting here listening to you two. You bring this warm, welcoming feeling that we're good friends, having a good time, just sitting and laughing over conversation. Good. That's my intention.
That was our intention. So great.
Thank you for being here and joining in. Pardon?
Her profile, Viking warrior.
Yeah. Goddess.
Yes.
That goddess energy. And all of us having that, regardless of a gender. We all have that goddess energy in us in pulling us forward. We had a little checklist because we kind of checked in because we both can be scrolling Red Bulls and going in different directions at the same time too. Jackie's just sharing. Oh, what did I put up? Oh, solar flares. Yes, I agree. Extremely sensitive to solar flares. Anything I can do to tune that down?
Tinfoil hat? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Kiss hat. I was thinking of that show where they didn't want the aliens to get them.
Or no, with Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah. And it does. It makes us have insomnia. We feel foggy brains,
brain fog,
irritable.
Yep.
Very disconnect, and a lot of it is drinking water. Increase our water. Grounding if you can, being outside, grounding in whatever way it grounds, all that kind of stuff.
Even if you have a chance to just rest and relax, right? Taking the time for yourself.
I find it's the nighttime that's worse for me with solar flares, not the day.
And it's the dreams. So that's why I always ask, please protect me or put something where I can actually sleep, or I'll be astral traveling or working through something. And it's just like I'm lost in a mall or like something. I'm trying to fix something. Yeah. Like, I don't want to work when I'm sleeping. I want to sleep.
Do crystals help you stay grounded? Like by your bed, if you have like hematite, does it help you stay grounded? Do you do anything like that?
And selenite, like this keeps for me keeps
you grounded.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I put selenite near me and my whole third eye starts pulsating.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I don't know. And water. I always keep a glass of water beside me, but I'm a water, like I love water, grounds me. So I ask for my emotions to go in the water, and then I take the water the next day and just dump it. Right.
Oh, that's really good. That's a very good tip. I don't necessarily keep water. Well, if I have water by my bed, I tend to dream more because water is such a conductor, right? So setting your intention. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, is setting that intention.
And anything like obsidian or tiger's eye, like the darker stones keep you grounded, and when you by the bed, like on your nightstand too, right?
I'm a fan of snowflake obsidian. Very big fan of snowflake obsidian.
And those that don't know what that looks like, it is, I don't know if you can see that. Ooh, it's got little snowflakes on it. Oh,
yeah, it's lovely. I have a big obsidian cat. It looks like an Egyptian cat. So there's that as well too. Jackie's just sharing, oh my God, that story made me laugh. The story about you and your brother. I just realized I feel like I've been smiling this whole interview so far because the vibration from the two of you together is super fun. I look forward. It's hanging out. Linda says, oh my God, I'm dying, tinfoil hat.
Sorry, that just popped into my head and I couldn't help it because I thought we need to it's light, like I said, it needs to be lighthearted. We need to laugh. We need
Yeah.
to enjoy,
And
right?
laughing does help ground us as well too. There are certain foods within moderation. So root foods,
Yeah.
root vegetables ground us. Dark chocolate also grounds us. So there's different foods as well too. But again, all in moderation and what our bodies can tolerate. Yes, grounding. It's -1 out. So you're not going outside barefoot around your cabin today for sure.
Actually, I've seen people. There's a gentleman in our area that runs barefoot
Oh.
even when it's snowing. And I'm like, you must know Will Hoff or whatever that guy's name
Yeah.
is. So,
There's a fellow here in Guelph that walks around barefoot year round. Like we see him out on the sidewalks barefoot year round. Linda is just sharing sunlight clears everything. It's like Frank's hot sauce. I'm not saying that it doesn't clear. I just say that it's one of those stones that really my third eye just respond like it opens up my intuition. I go from here to there very quickly. Joanne is just sharing love that idea. I think it was about the intention with your water as well too. This conversation you're having is giving it so much joy and fun. It's good info. Loving it. Thank you very much, Mary Jo, for being here. And Star, I hope we answered. I have. Oh, a delight. Because of the lithium, it lets into the room.
oh, I did not know that. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I find making sure that I'm asking, and again, it's about intentions, right? So, and because I do work from home, so there's clearing all of that energy. But my bedroom is a no-go. It's a no-fly zone. I don't want to astral travel. I don't want downloads. I don't want to do intuitive work when I'm sleeping. I don't want that connection. I just want to sleep and thank you very much. And if I do want to do any kind of work or downloads, then I set a date for it, like Saturday night, folks. Bring her on. We're going to connect Saturday, but until Saturday, we are, I just, you're not allowed in, you're not allowed to touch me. I don't want spirits coming early. I just want to sleep through the night. And thank you very much. And asking my guides to ensure that I can have a restful, peaceful sleep so that I can do this work the next day. Right.
And just because I have one of our friends, Heather's voice in my head right now, Heather D, intentions are being clear, concise, what you're focusing on, right? So when people go, well, what do you mean intentions, right? That's your clarity, what you're wanting to put out.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sorry, I could just hear her voice going, I asked you that already today.
That's so funny. And yeah, Star is just sharing. Teachers love that stone, the lepidolite. Love it on their desks. And intentions too. Like we don't have to have a smoky quartz or a smoky like a snowflake obsidian. We don't even have to have all those crystals. But if we understand what the intention is, we can have that intention and just envision it and put that into our space. So don't feel like you need to spend an arm and a leg, because once you go down that rabbit hole, you're looking for different sources of income in order to be paying for all of the crystals. To pay for all of your crystals. And it's intention. You can do that through intention as well too.
Well, it's been proven over and over again just by setting intention even to your water, right?
Well,
and they've changed the molecules in water, even your food.
Yes.
Bless in your food, right? And I bless it. Please don't stay and put weight on. Make sure you give me nutrients and the rest can go.
So funny. I do something similar. I'm like, let me just keep what my body needs, and I'm donating the rest to the universe. Thank you very much.
I had one client that said, if I have to come back again, the only thing I want to accomplish is eating a whole cake and not gaining any weight.
Is that funny, eh? And it's funny what we get pulled to as well too, because I'm not even a cake, and my kids aren't either. We always do pies for birthday.
We were talking. She asked me about like how many times do you think I've been back here? I'm like, man, do we really want to know? Because you keep doing this, not learning that lesson, right? But it was putting, again, fun spin on it.
Exactly. How can do you have any courses or workshops coming up right now that you are offering? Do you have anything on the calendar right now?
No, I don't. I've been so busy with my clients catching up.
Yeah.
But I will put out, people have been asking about inner child, yoga with the chakras, finding out about the chakras and working with them. So, I've had a couple of clients ask if I'm going to teach Reiki again. So I'll be putting those out.
Yeah. So, um, I thought I had it written down, a workshop about healing. Yeah. Inner child trauma and traumas. I think that you mentioned that. Sorry
Yeah,
if I'm repeating it.
yeah, inner child and shadow work.
And how can people reach out to you if they're interested in connecting with you?
Through my email.
Which is?
debcolbeck@yahoo.ca.
COULBECK. Deb Colbeck at yahoo.ca. So it is in the description if you found that. So I just want to do a shout out to all of the people that joined us today. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Thank you for all the great questions and supporting the show and us. Thank you, Deb, for being here. And it's always fun. I think that we should do a little energetic check-in every few months and come on and just keep sharing and supporting people, and helping them feel empowered within their bodies, right? The more they understand, the more empowered that they feel, the better. So thank you to, thank you very much, Christine, for being here. Linda, you would love Deborah as well. Linda is just saying, Deborah is wonderful and I want to meet her.
Oh, thank you.
So thanks again, everybody. And thank you to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7, based out of New Orleans. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here. And we will see you next week at 6:00. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.